Hi, this is Brian Fogarty, and this is a video for Chapter 2 of the book Quantitative Social Science Data with R, the second edition. In this video, what we're going to do is look at installing packages in R. So packages are collections, groups, whatever, folders, whatever, that contain functions, R functions. So when you download R, it comes with sort of what they call base R. So it's a handful of functions. Functions are, the sort of instructions to carry out different types of analyses and do different things in R. So oftentimes we would call them like commands. In Stata, we might call it that. So because R is open source, there's thousands and thousands of user-written packages. And we need to install those in order to run the different analyses and do the different things that we want to do that move beyond just the base packages that come with it. So this is a huge thing. There's two parts. One is installing it, and then the other one, which we'll see, is activating the package. So let's get started. So I'm going to do this. This is using the same R Markdown file that we used in the previous video. What I like to do, which you don't have to, this is just sort of personal preference, is that I like to set my library. So I'm going to type this in here. So .libpaths open parenthesis. So this is where all of the packages for R are located. So it shows me I have two. One is my user account, and the other one is the C drive, the hard drive on the Windows computer. What I like to do is I like to set my library to the C drive or my computer. And the reason why is that I often had issues when I would be like work at home and then come into the university and you're connected to a network, and then packages are in different places, and sometimes I had problems with it. So what I like to do is just set it so that I know where it is every time before I try to install a new package or load a new package or anything like that. All right, so to set it, we just do libpaths and then the path that we want. So this is the one I want. I'm just going to copy it and paste it in. Oh wait, we don't need those double there because I already had the double. All right, so we do that, and then we can check it again. So libpaths, okay, and that shows me there. So you might have seen on the corner of your eye here is that this kind of updated to set it to a different one there. Okay, so we set that, and then to install packages is super easy. The function is just install, and it comes up, right? I mean, so one of the nice things about RStudio that is a couple years ago is that it created this, that it suggests what functions you want, which sometimes it's annoying because you're like using one that pulls up a whole bunch. Sometimes it's very useful, both in terms of you don't remember what it is or you don't want to type all of it. All right, so install packages, and then you need to know the name of the package. So you would do quote, and then let's say tidyverse. Tidyverse is a package that we are going to make use of a great deal in this book. Okay, so that's it. Let's do that and run that. Okay, you're going to get this kind of stuff. I recently did it, so it doesn't have as much, but it will give you sort of information as it goes, as it progresses, and you just need to double check when stuff comes up to make sure there's no error or warning, or they're showing there's some kind of problem. Okay. One of the things I should mention, if I haven't before, is how to actually run that code. I was just thinking about this. So we type the stuff in here, and it doesn't automatically like run for us. That would be kind of crazy. What I like to do, because I'm 1,000 years old, is I like to highlight with my keys and then do Control Enter on again, this is Windows, so this might be different if you're on a Mac. You can also highlight and click run. There's different ways to do it. Is that the, yeah, run current chunk. There's all, there's different ways. So it's whatever you're most comfortable with. Okay, so we installed it. Okay, so now it will be listed down here. So now the package is installed. It's listed here. If we want to use any of the functions from the package, we need to load it. So there's two ways to do it. I like to use library as the function. So library, I'm just going to do tidyverse. Okay, I'm going to highlight that. It's taking a while. Okay, I'm just building this up, or pulling this up a little so we can see it a little bit. Okay, so when you load packages, a lot of times it'll give you information, and normally it doesn't really matter. But tidyverse, because it's like this overarching package, tells you, it actually attaches sort of, I don't know what you call it, sub packages affiliated. So it attaches these are like the 8 packages that make up. Another thing it shows, which is good to know because you can get very confused, is that this shows us that there's conflicts between function names. So this says, all right, there's a function called filter that's part of dplyr, and there's also a function called filter that's part of the stats. So stats is part of base R. And so R doesn't know which one you want to use unless you don't load the package itself and use it like how it's shown there, where it's like dplyr, then the double colon, and then the function name. You can do that. That works. Otherwise, what it does is that it like overrides it. So right now it will say like the filter function from dplyr is going to be preferred over or applied instead of the one from the stats package. We'll see later that there's times where like this happens and you want to use it from the other package. You got to detach or unload, I guess, the package in order to get it to work. All right. The last thing I just want to point out here is that there's warning messages. Warning messages, it's in red, so like we're scared immediately. This tells us, so it says tidyverse read R were built, I guess I'm using was built because singular, under version 4.1.3. And so that's a newer version than the one I have loaded. I think I mentioned that I kept the version that I started the book in, just so everything was sort of consistent. This is normally not a problem. It's only if there's like a big change that you'll see that there could be a problem, and a lot of times you just need to figure it out because you might try to run something and it doesn't work, and it could be because you need to update your either your packages or your version of R or whatever. Okay. The last thing I want to do is to save this and then run the R Markdown file. Okay. So you can do it just like save as, and then stick it somewhere. Let's overwrite. Let's do example1. Example. I don't know if you could see it. I'm doing example1 dot, and then the file for suffix here is .rmd. Okay, so that's for R Markdown. So we'll do that. Okay, so we have that, and then when we want to create the R Markdown file, what we do is we can click on this knit that has a little string and the knitting needle. I always think of cats. I don't know, not like the musical, just cats in general. So if you click here, it'll show you like these are different options you can knit to, and there's different things happening. But we also declared it right here. Okay, the output. All right. Before I do that, what I forgot to mention is when you install packages for the first time when you're getting going, R is going to ask you to set up where you're installing it from, like your package depository, a CRAN mirror. And generally, when it comes up, you pick the one that's closest to you geographically. I don't know if it matters as much as it used to, but back in the day, we did that because it was closer. So the idea was that the packages would use less bandwidth or take less time to install because it was closer. But that was in the Stone Ages. So I don't know if it matters as much. But when you do that, first time I'll ask you to do that. If I try to run this with this install packages, R is going to yell at me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two versions of making so code doesn't run. One is just an old school way, is you just put the hash mark or pound sign if you're 1,000 like I am. And then what it does when you do that is it tells R to ignore it. And you can use that. I mean, that's from R script. You can use that. Okay, so I'm just going to click init. Okay, so it's going to run it. How long it takes will depend on how much stuff you have, like how long is the file, and if you're doing complicated stuff. All right, so this, you probably should see some of it, shows up here. So this is the file. So like here it shows like anything I type. Now, I mean, this is really dirty and ugly, but you can see what the R Markdown file starts to look like, where you have the code is in that gray box, and then the output is underneath. All right, so I'm just going to click out of that. All right, the other way to do it, which you can do if you're using an R Markdown file, is in this chunk header. What you can do is use the option eval, which is short for evaluate, equals false. So what that does is that it tells R when it's knitting, when it's doing the knitting here, to not actually run that code. Don't run this code. So show it, but don't run it. So we're just going to click on this again. Take a second. It should pop up. There we go. All right. So we see like all the code is here, but we don't see any of the output because we said don't run it. All right. So we will be using our Markdown files throughout this book. So you'll see a lot more of them in these videos. All right, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.